Welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are learn about how contracts break legal hurdles. Before this lecture, we already learned uh, meaning and types of contracts, then how contracts make a better business and importance of contracts with real life examples. So today we are starting with this lecture. The content here is legal capacity. Each party entering into a contract must have the legal capacity to do so. This means they must be of a legal age and sound mind and not under duress or undue influences. So that means legal age means 18 years above. Next is sound mind and mental consent. They are not a not a mentally unsound mind and not under the undue influences, not a alcoholic and any drugs affection person. So that are the legal capacity which is determined in the contracts that makes a better contract to breaking the legal hurdles. Offer and expectance. Contracts require a clear offer by one party and an unqualified acceptance of that offer by the other party. So both offer and acceptance must be communicated clearly and without ambiguity. Next is consideration. Contract must involve an exchange of something of value. That means is consideration between the parties. This ensures that the contract is not a gift or a one-sided promise. And legal purpose here is the purpose of the contract must be legal. Contracts that involve illegal activities or purpose are generally unenforceable. So these are the legal purpose are essential elements in the contracts. Next is mutual consent. Both parties must freely consent to the terms of the contract. Consent can be invalidated if one party is mistaken about a material fact or if there is a fraud involved. So this is the mutual consent. There is prevent the misunderstanding between both the parties. Next is formalities. Some contract must meet specific formalities to be enforceable. For example, real estate contracts often require written documentation to be valid. So some contracts are very preferable for written statements, not an orally. Next is public policy. Contracts that violate public policy are not enforceable. This includes contracts that promote illegal activities, harm the public interest, or go against established norms. So that are not enforceable in nature if the contracts are have a legal illegal activities, have a harm the public interest and go against the established norms. So that can be also known as the void contracts. Then later on that will be voidable contracts if there are chances to get this type of activities in future. So the type of contracts is voidable contracts. And if in initial period we know about this type of activities are handling in this contract, so that is void at initial stage. Next is statute of frauds. Some types of contracts must be in writing to be enforceable. This includes contracts for the sale of real estate, contracts that cannot be performed within 1 year, and contracts for the sale of goods over a certain value under the Uniform Commercial Code. If you have some construction contracts, if you have some real estate property contracts, that is enforceable in nature, whether it's on written consent, written statements, because written documents are here is mandatory for the enforcement. Next is implied terms. Contracts may include terms that are implied by law or custom, even if they are not explicitly stated in the contract itself. These implied terms help fill gaps in the contract and ensure fairness between the parties. So that are the implied contracts that are not explicitly stated any statements or any clauses in the contracts itself, but it is implied terms that will help in future to fill the gaps in the contracts, whichever gaps are happens in the future, that will help us to fill that gaps by the implied statements in the contracts. Next is performance and discharge. Contracts outline the obligations of each party. Once these obligations are fulfilled, that means performance are fulfilled, the contract is discharged. And discharge can also occur through agreement, through breach, frustration, where circumstances make performance impossible or operation of law. Next, our point is breach and remedies. Breach for the contract. If contract of breach are happened, breach of contracts are there, and because of that, we have remedies as well. If one party fails to fulfill their obligation, that means they breach the contracts, and the other party may seek remedies such as damages. Other party have some damages for that because of breach of contracts, like a monetary compensation. So specific performance forcing the breaching party to fulfill their obligations. What are their obligations? Obligations is doing something for that another party who face the damages, like a monetary compensation if they face a loss, or cancellation and restitutions. It's returning the parties to their original positions. Next point is interpretation. Contracts must be interpreted according to the intentions of the parties at the time of entering into the contract. Courts may consider external evidences such as the circumstances surrounding the contract's formation to determine the parties' intentions. So that are the meaning of interpretation. Next is modification and termination. Contracts can be modified if both parties agree to change the terms. Yeah, this is also a one type of that point. If parties are that doing it by the written consent of both the parties, then they are also add some type of clauses in the contract about the written consent when modification and termination of contracts. So termination of contract may occur if both parties agree to end the contract, if it expires according to its terms, or if certain conditions such as breach of frustrations occur, right? Next is international considerations. Contracts involving parties from different countries may be subject to international laws, international conventions, and international treaties. So it's important to consider jurisdictional issues and choice of law clauses when drafting the international contracts. So if we have some international contracts because of the international trade, because some of example are there. If one country is dealing the business with another country, they are occurring into contract with international trade agreement. International considerations are very necessary in this, because we have a two countries law, we have a treaties there, we have a conventions mandates also. So it is very important to consider the jurisdictional issues as well. So this is all for this lecture. I hope you all understanding these points in whichever are included in this lecture, and thank you so much for listening me.